this is Show here. Now then, after watching the last 5 minutes of my last part, I realized I had said that my manager asked if my PTSD was acting up. Now, I told my manager yesterday that I do not have PTSD, but it's just everyone was giving me the runaround yesterday, and then whenever this happened, it kind of set off my BDPD. Now then, what that actually is basically whenever you feel your emotions, you tend to feel them more extreme than any other person. Basically, you feel your emotions more extreme than usual. If you feel extreme anger, well, if you feel anger, you feel extreme anger. If you feel happiness, you feel overwhelming happiness. If you feel sadness, you just feel an entire wave of sadness. Now, what that in turn means is that it is a form, or not a form, it is a precursor to PTSD, but it is not PTSD. Where PTSD can be set off by physical stimuli like loud noises or a gunshot, or just things that would remind you of those events. Now, because of this, my manager knows about this condition, but they know I don't have PTSD. Now, I just want to clarify that because I realized I had said that in the last part. I did not say I did not have it. But anyways, while I'm on the subject before the what if starts, well, different subject, but before the what if starts, I have the list in front of me of the 10 Commandments, except I scribbled off one of them because something's happening later. But anyways, okay. I am literally one subscriber away from hitting 200. So after I post this video, if I hit 200, that means I am going to be doing my What If Deku was Riddick for 200. And since I'm on the topic of what ifs, I had this idea whenever I was watching a video about Monsters Explained. I was thinking about doing a What If Deku was from Skull Island What If. Now, what that island is, it's basically the island King Kong and a bunch of ancient creatures have lived on. Basically, Deku would basically live in a climate where it'd be intense heat, intense snow, intense rain, and he'd have to basically try and survive with giant monsters, including the likes of Godzilla, a Skullcrawler, King Kong, and a lot of other things, trying to hunt down humans and eat them. And Skullcrawlers have unsatisfiable hunger. So, yeah, that what if is actually going to be a very interesting one to do. So, now then, whenever we last left off, Deku and them, the rest of 1A, had actually kept... rest of 1A. Deku and Estarossa captured the Hero Killer. Now then, after they captured the Hero Killer, what happened was... Ew, that was disgusting. I just ate and had some hot cocoa, and I just burped, and that was not fun. But now then, Stain Arc, the Hero Camp. Okay, I know where I'm at. The Hero Camp, everyone is on the bus and they're talking. Deku is actually being a lot friendlier and being more conversational. This is whenever people would ask, what did Deku learn on his internship? And this is whenever he would say that he met a man with a quirk called Esterosa. People would ask what his quirk was, and he said that he called his quirk love. So people would look at Deku funny, and this is whenever he would say that you guys might think it's not. You guys might think it's a very silly name, but it actually fits his quirk pretty well. Anyone who has intent to harm or kill him, they are rendered powerless against him. People would ask him to explain, he would say that basically anyone who feels ill will towards him, as he called it, cannot harm him. Now, after this, he would give the explanation that he also met Durari, who was these 10 people were essentially called the 10 Commandments. There was Durari, who was the commandment of purity, Droll, who was the commandment of patience, Esterosa being the commandment to love, Gallahan being the commandment of truth, Zeldris being the commandment of rapidity, Mon Speed being the commandment of reticence, Melosuda being the commandment of faith, Grey Road being the commandment of pacifism, and Glonoxia being the commandment of repose. Now then, that is quite a mouthful. People would say that those were only 9 of the commandments, and he would say that no one really brought up the last guy, but they said that he is essentially the commandment of selfishness, because not only does he seem like a very greedy person, but he's always out doing hero work, and he is one of those heroes for fame. He is essentially the only one of them like that, though. Now then. Deku would... Oh wow, already 7 minutes. Anyways. Now then. They would arrive at the cliffside area, and this is whenever... Ow. This is whenever the teachers would then say that, well, Mr. Aizawa, I don't know why I called him Mr. Aizawa, he's not married. Aizawa would then say to the students that this is where they are going to be stopping, because they need to go to the camp. Now, 1B is actually with them. And in 1B is Mineta. So that whole P thing with Mineta still happens. And I don't know if I exactly specified it, but Mineta, he is not in this what if. I believe I replaced him with Shinsho or another candidate. I believe I did. Actually, I don't. Mineta might actually still be in 1A. That's impressive. Let's say he's still in 1A. Anyways. Now then. This is whenever Deku, as soon as people would have been thrown off the cliff, Deku would immediately create his giant hands and start going through the forest. Now, as the second that he touches down, he immediately starts cutting through the forest and actually creating a lot of damage. What the Pussycats basically see is, they're not explosions, but a lot of things are collapsing, a lot of wind and dirt are being thrown up into the air along with a lot of trees. And Tiger's looking at this, and this is whenever Esterosa would actually pull up saying that, well, it looks like they already got started without us. Now, the Pussycats, knowing who they are asking why Esterosa is there. Esterosa would say that him and his agency have actually been asked by Principal Nezu at UA to oversee some of their training as well, along with teaching Deku, well, young Midoriya. They would ask what they mean by that. Aizawa would say that that boy has power beyond himself that he has yet to understand. That that kid was actually supposed to be killed during the USJ attack, but actually tore apart a beast and a monster made to kill All Might. He would then go into detail and explain exactly what he did to the Nomu. Estarossa would be surprised hearing about this. Well, the Pussycats are trying to keep their composure, as Tiger's actually shaking in his boots at the thought of trying to train Midoriya. Now then, they would get to the camp. Deku would be the first one getting there, actually using this mode to cut through after most of his opponents after an hour of trying to hold back. Now, the Pussycats, as they are driving to the camp, they would realize whenever Deku's letting loose, because they would actually be able to feel the pressure in the ground. They feel things like start to shake a bit while Deku is actually fighting these monsters. Now, the woman with the detection quirk says that she's having hard trouble pinpointing where this kid actually is. All the force he's using, all the power he's using, she can feel it, but it feels like this kid is in 7 different places at once. 8? What? How? Where is he? Anyways, the 10 Commandments would actually have gotten there a bit earlier than the Pussycats. Because let's say Estarossa was the one who greeted them, and the rest of them were already at the camp. Now, they're talking with Koda, and they all look human. All of them are humanoid looking. Grey Road actually looks like a regular business. He looks like the portal guy, Koragiri. I think that's how his name is. But he just has a mask on. Now, he actually wears this mask because he has a horrifying looking face underneath it. Other than that, he just wears a regular, standardized suit. And the woman who wears that one piece, the white one piece, who's the demon, her being... You guys know who exactly I'm talking about, right? The... One Speed. She actually is not as demonic or monstrous. Because that creepy smile. Yeah. It's creepy. Anyways, they're actually talking with Koda about their quirks, and he actually does enjoy talking to them. This is whenever Deku would immediately arrive with such force and nearly blows everyone away. This is whenever he would immediately power down to... He would power down to about around this mode, and he would immediately just apologize, saying that he's sorry, but he is sorry, but he needed to get here before he ran out of time. Now, as he would say this, 6 more Dekus, 5 more Dekus actually, would pop up behind him and immediately disappear. Everyone's confused, and this is when Regalahan would say that that is something new. Okay. Now then, after everyone would show up, this is whenever, as soon as Ida would pop out of the forest, he would walk out, he would move a bush, immediately be met with Galahad, then Sully put the bush back and start walking back into the forest. Now then. Now then. After that, this is whenever everyone will be introduced to the Ten Commandments. They would say that there's only 8 of them. Esterosa would immediately pop up, saying that actually 9 are... I'm not going to try and pronounce his name. The commandment of selfishness is not showing up. Living up to his name. Kirishima would mouth to Bakugo, "What the fuck?" Not actually saying it. I get my 1 PG-13 and I still get to make a funny joke. Everything is right with the universe. Anyways. After that, cut to early morning training. Galahad is essentially teaching Kirishima how to properly fight, along with a JoJo reference. What I mean by that? You're approaching me. You know where that joke goes. Now then. After that, Bakugo is getting angry and he's trying to fight with Esterosa the way he sees Deku doing light sparring. Now, as soon as he goes to attack Esterosa, this is whenever he gets rendered completely helpless. Esterosa would say that his quirk makes it to where you cannot harm him if you have ill will against him. This is whenever he would turn his quirk off, and after that, Bakugo and Deku, they would immediately just be huffing and puffing. Bakugo would realize that that was not light sparring, that was very intense. After that, him and Deku would actually be going against Esterosa and fighting them properly. Bakugo would get to the point where he can control his emotions better, along with Deku actually being able to somewhat go into a assault mode. Now, what do I mean by somewhat of an assault mode? Basically, he's a bit calmer, but it's... Where's the picture? It's somewhat like this, but he basically has an entire feet lower half covered by darkness, and his entire chest covered by it too. So it just looks like a skin-tight black suit. But it's actually just his quirk. Ow. Yeah. Deal with that later. Anyways. After that, this is whenever Class 1B, they would try and join in on 1A, but Monoma, the guy who copies quirks, he would try and copy Greyroad's quirk, and as soon as he would have seen Greyroad's face, he would immediately just noped back out of there. 1A cannot be that. 1A cannot be that far above us, sees Greyroad. Yeah, I'm gonna pass. Besides, I just read a comment. I think it was talking about Galahad being mistaken for a villain. And that'd be funny, but Greyroad is more obvious to be mistaken for a villain. Not gonna lie. Along with Derry, which Mineta would try and perv on, but Counterstar. Yeah. She would probably be the one working with Kirishima. And Zeldris and Mana Speed, they would probably be working with all the other students. Now, the giant green forearm guy, he would probably be working with Shoji. And they would do that whole If you guys have ever seen that handshake meme, basically imagine that but with 4 arms. That'd be hilarious. I can't stop picturing it. Anyways, I will be covering the. I could probably cover